Greetings, salutations, respect, and love. I am Scott, and yeah, I'm looking over my glasses. I've heard you guys don't like when I do that. You want me to look through the glasses? That's ridiculous. I don't like that. That's a better look anyway. Today on the program, boys and girls, I got a good one. If you had to buy 10 prog albums to start your vinyl collection, these are the 10. These are the essential 10. These are the 10 prog albums you absolutely need to own. And you know, price is not really an object because 8 out of these 10 you can pick up on Discogs in great condition for under $10. 2 of them are a little bit pricier, but you can still get them at a decent price. Come on, man. You know, you're talking about records that sold millions of copies in the 70s. So yeah, there's going to be a ton of them out there. And I picked these ones not just because they're like, you know, seminal records or records I love or, you know, records that, you know, people in the prog intelligentsia feel are important. These are the 10 that I think look great and you should have in your record collection because they're awesome. And I'm starting at number 10, and it's Pawn Hearts by Vandergraaf Generator from 1971. Why'd I pick this one? This is probably the most obscure out of the 10 that I'm picking. But if you're a prog person or a record collector or just, you know, somebody that likes music in general, you need Vandergraaf Generator in your life, man. One of the most unique bands of all time. This here album actually has a side-long epic on there because I know how prog people like that kind of stuff. You got Robert Fripp on here. This was the last album before they took like a 4-year hiatus and came back in 75. But yeah, man, Pawn Hearts at number 10. This one might run you a little bit more. Yeah, I think I got my copy here. Like for $12, something like that. Not too bad. At number 9, albums you must own. You got to have this in your collection. It's Left Overtures. Left Overture maybe is not my favorite Kansas album, but you got to have an American prog band in your collection, and if you don't, then Kansas is absolutely what you need. And Left Overture is probably the best entry point. I mean, Carry On Wayward Son opens it up, and there's not a bad track on here. All 8 songs on this album are dynamite, amazing. There's none of the boogie tracks that you saw in like the first 3 albums, so they kind of got rid of that and just went solid prog on here. What a dynamite record. I love Kansas. They're so good, and that's why I got them at number 9 for the albums you must own. You got to own this one. At number 8, here's another one that you have to own. The album that kind of showed the way to the 80s, and it's Moving Pictures by Rush. This is the band's 8th album and the one that really pointed the way to the 80s, right? This is their transitional album. After this, they would do like Signals and Grace Under Pressure and, you know, that kind of stuff, Power Windows. Before this, they were doing, you know, more of their proggy stuff. Here you get both, man. You get tons of prog. You get tons of radio rock if you want, you know, the big old hits, Limelight and Tom Sawyer, whatever. But side 2 is where it's at, man. Side 2 is where Rush really starts taking some chances, where you see they were, in fact, the prog band all along. They were never anything but a prog band, people. And this album proves it. It's their most popular album, and it's one of their proggiest. Absolutely. Moving Pictures at number 8. At number 7, I'm picking this one because the album cover's neato, and you can go into a used record store and buy this thing for like $2 usually. It's Tarkus. Yeah, you got to have this in your album collection. You absolutely do. Why wouldn't you want this cool gatefold, right? It's not cool enough as it is, right? But you get the whole battle scene, man. I used to stare at that thing as a kid all the time. And then, of course, laid out like a comic. You got to have this. This is essential, man. Oh, we didn't even talk about the music. It's Emerson, Lake and Palmer, people, 1971. Their second album. The Sidelong Suite occupies the front end of this thing. Side B's no slouch. A lot of people like to, you know, slag off on side B of Tarkus. They're wrong. They're dead wrong. Emerson, Lake and Palmer, just amazing. Absolutely. Oh, yes, indeed, boys and girls. So I got them. What number am I on? I don't even remember what number I'm on. That was number 7, I think, right? Number 7. Oh, okay. At number 6. How about Selling England by the Pound by Genesis? Sure, why not? You know, it's not my favorite album by them, but, you know, if you're going to have one Genesis album in your collection, don't get one of the Phil Collins records, right? I mean, I almost went with The Trick of the Tail because it is such a nice, accessible record, such an easy way to get into the band, but there's no Peter Gabriel on it, so I had to include one from the five-man era. And, you know, The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway is my favorite, but you're not going to find that cheap anywhere. It's pretty expensive usually when you find it. And I could have gone with Foxtrot, but, you know, if you want to build a little prog collection, you need to start with this one right here. Absolutely. That's at number 6. Okay, at number 5. It's Mike Oldfield. Oh, why not Mike Oldfield? I think I'm doing like extra numbers here. I think I pulled 11 records. I don't know. My number's a little wonky here today. But you talk about an important album. It don't get much more important than an album that sold like, what, 50 million copies? Dude was 19 years old when he recorded this. You know, made Richard Branson a big old billionaire, got Virgin Records off. I guess this was the very first album on Virgin. It and that Gong album came out at the same time on the same day, but they usually consider this the first Virgin release. And what a way to start an album, right? What a way to start a run of albums, or to start a record label, right? With a record that sold 50 million copies. Absolutely, its reputation is stellar, and rightly so. It's just a dynamite album, and I love it. At number 4, for the albums you absolutely must own. Oh, yeah. It's the great Jethro Tull and their satirical prog concept masterpiece, Thick as a Brick. This was their 5th album, dropped in 1972. And this was a response to all the prog rock that was out there. Everybody said Jethro Tull's previous album, Aqualung, was a concept album, and for some reason, Ian Anderson got really upset about that. I mean, he got real prickly and defensive. It's not a concept album. What's wrong with you people? Like, what is the problem if people thought it was a concept album? There seems to be a concept running through the whole thing, so I can certainly understand why reviewers of the day felt that way, but Ian was all beside himself, just crying into his wine, just being a little baby. So he put out an actual concept album. And when I was a little kid, I thought this Gerald Bostock was a real person. I thought he wrote all of it. I was dumb. I didn't know no better. My older brother, he kind of clued me in. Such a great record. So cool. I love the concept. I love the packaging. It's just amazing. And it's at number 4 of the albums you must own. And at number 3, oh, you got to own this one. And I bet you most of the people watching my channel do, but you got to have Close to the Edge. You know, you do. The Gradient album cover is iconic. First time you're getting the Roger Dean Bubble logo. But, you know, it's when you opened it up, man. When you opened it up, the whole world opened up, man. It's like, oh my God, look at this, the whole universe. Tell me you didn't look at that gatefold while you were listening to Close to the Edge over and over and over in the 70s. I know I sure did. You got to have it. Everybody has to have it. Whether you're a prog rock fan or a music fan or just a record collector, you must have Close to the Edge, and that is true at number 2 as well. You talk about an iconic album cover, they don't come no more iconic than Dark Side of the Moon by Pink Floyd. You know, dropped in 1973. This is the album that really put them on the map because, you know, they were kind of struggling a little bit in the wilderness. Those first 2 albums got them a lot of notoriety, you know, the Syd Barrett years. But, you know, they were kind of wandering around with, you know, soundtracks like More and Obscured by Clouds. Although Metal was a fantastic album, it was this album right here that put them on the map, that made them big old rock stars, flying around in private jets and being jerks and all that kind of stuff. It can only happen when you have an album that sells 150 million copies, right? Nobody's going to start acting like a jerk if your album sold 25 copies. You only do that when you get a little bit, when you're starting to feel yourself a little bit, right? And that's certainly what Roger Waters was doing after 1973. But at number 1, boys and girls, the one album you have to have. You got to have it in your album collection. I mean, you must own this thing. And yeah, it's King Crimson in the Court of the Crimson King for several reasons. Obviously, look at that album cover. Just amazing. Look at that. Look at that thing. Oh, one of the greatest album covers of all time. Love the gatefold too. Oh, yeah, it's so great. But, you know, it is one of the earliest examples of prog rock. It's got that great album cover. Why would you want a CD or a cassette of this, man? You got to have the vinyl copy. Otherwise, you just don't get the same impact, right? It's not the same thing at all. I almost went with Steven Wilson. That's why I got him up there. And what else do I have down here? I almost went with the OK Computer by Radiohead, but I wanted to keep it all 70s stuff. If you're starting out your collection and you don't have a whole lot of dough like yours truly here, you can buy all 10 of those. I bet you could get all 10 on Discogs in excellent shape for under $100. And those are the 10 records that I suggest. I implore you. I absolutely demand that you own these 10 albums. Because if you don't, then, nothing's going to happen. I'll still love you guys, but maybe I'll think just a little bit less of you if you don't have all 10 of those. No, I'm kidding. Because there's plenty of holes in my record collection, that's for sure. Anyway, boys and girls, I just want to ID real quick and promote this Sunday's live stream, 11 a.m. Eastern, man. It's going to be amazing. I am welcoming in Brett Cole and, what's his name? Chris Busby from Echoland, man. They got a brand new album out, Time Silent Radio 2 and 7. So they actually have 2 new albums out, and they're both amazing. So we're going to have those 2 guys on the show talking about the new Echoland albums. That's Sunday. Anyway, guys, I love you. Peace in the Middle East. Free Tibet. Free Ukraine. Free your mind. Free Willie. Free beer. And don't forget to save that king. That cotton picker needs some saving. Oh, bring that son of a gun over to America. That son of a bitch needs some saving. And we got all kinds of ways of saving him. Oh, we can save that king over here. Absolutely we can. We can do thoughts and we can do prayers. Our prayer warriors are working 24/7, making sure that boy's cancer don't come back. We love that King Chucky. Absolutely we do. And then we're going to drink poison and we're going to dance with rattlesnakes. What? No, not the rattlesnakes. Oh, yeah, the rattlesnakes are coming out. They're going to get me. Oh, buddy boy, these rattlesnakes are hungry. I love you guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.